Hello and welcome to WeighPay. In this video, we're going to focus on Phase 1 training for our feeder yard software, which is typically an Android tablet and, of course, an online back office. And so we're going to start your Phase 1 training by simply going up to the login from our website, weightpay.com. We are then going to log in. Once we get here, we're primarily going to focus on these four sections right here for your Phase 1 training, and that is how to set up a product group, a shipping group, buy products, and how to create pricing. So let's go ahead and get logged into what your products are. So this group is like copper is a group, brass is a group, all your different commodities are going to have a group, and then they're going to have individual products inside of that group. So you can set up one by simply going here. You can type in aluminum, hit the add button, and then you can create these. A lot of times we'll preload your database, and so these will already be here existing, the ones that we feel are relevant to your use cases. And so that's pretty much all the functionality that's needed on the product group page. Keep in mind that these groups, if I go over here to our mobile application, which you'll use on Samsung devices, so these are the groups. So if I go to aluminum, then you see the aluminum products inside that group. And so when I reference a group, just know that that group is the title that you'll have on the button, like brass, and then you'll go into all the different brass commodities. So that should be fairly self-explanatory. So one of the differences in our system is how we separate what we call a shipping group versus a product group. Primarily was used in the bottled beverage industry in California, but it also is relevant to compliance settings. So for instance, aluminum is non-ferrous, your autos are ferrous, your steels, is ferrous, electronics. So you can see here, if I go into a product, how we can select the type. And this is, of course, used for compliance. But these headers that you see here are going to be the headers that we use on your report. So if you want to have it where it says non-ferrous metals or ferrous metals, you can user-defined fields, but these here are something that you would select to make sure that you're able to differentiate between the different commodities. So for instance, if I have the compliance laws around non-ferrous, I would want to make sure that all my products that are regulated are under the non-ferrous category and not mixed with my ferrous categories, such as batteries and maybe some other things. And so it's important to know how your categorization is done. But that's pretty much all that's here. Is you can create them from scratch, or you of course can and then select or determine what kind of shipping group that is. And so that is again primarily used on a report. And so as an example of that, I will go to a daily report, and then I will grab a larger date range for some data sample, and then I will click on the report, and you're going to see that we start with a group summary at the top with group averages, and then you can see how we've got other non-ferrous. These are those shipping groups that I spoke about, of how you categorize what products fall underneath the non-ferrous categories. And so I can go to the next page, and you'll see I've got ferrous, I've got electronics, I've got bottled beverage for California, CRV, and how it's all sorted and segregated. And so again, that is these two products. So you set this up. Typically we preload it. A lot of times these are preloaded as well. And then you just get into the individual commodities themselves. And so you can go in and hit the add button. And then you can say, okay, I want to start with copper 1 or copper 2 or whatever you're going to start with. If you use product codes, you can also enter the product code here. And then you're going to select which group does that fall under. Does that fall under brass, copper, whatever it falls under? What unit of measure do I buy by? Do I buy by the pound, or do I buy by the ton, the metric ton, the long ton, the short ton? So you can select the unit of measure. Then, of course, you can select the shipping group again. So this one is for how you're going to see it on the screen. This one is for how you're going to see it in reports, under what category you're going to see it. And then, of course, you can buy by the pound, sell by the ton, and you can set your buy and your sell by here. And then you would just hit your save button. And so pretty simple on setting it up. If I go into one that's already set up, you'll see my number one Bear Bright copper chops. I have a code, it's under copper, by the pound, copper, and then I hit the save button, and that's it. So pretty simple management and maintenance of your product codes and descriptions that you have there. once we drop from step 1, step 2, step 3. So it's important that you don't try to set up products before you set up groups. So you set your group first, you set your shipping group second. So these are in order on purpose. Then you set up your products. A lot of times, again, we've pre-imported those based on a list you've given us during your implementation, and or we just have a standard set of scrap metal products that we import for you. The fourth one is your pricing and how you're going to set your pricing. So for instance, if I was going to price my brass out, I might go to my brass category like I just selected into the product group, and then you would see all of my products sitting here. And then if you're in California, you're going to have a California refund value for your bottled beverages. If you're not in California, you will not see this. This column will be removed from your database. So the public price, this is your peddler, this is your walk-up, this is your low. So this is whatever you give somebody that just walks into your business for the first time, and I'm going to pay them the bare minimum to buy their product. And so you can set the pricing. You simply hit the edit button. You can then put your pricing in. You can enable that so that it's usable. You can also set your sell price. So the market price is what you're going to sell it. I'm going to buy it for 85 cents and sell it for $2.36. We'll go over the quick access and the quick priority later, but this is how you can set it up on the screen in order to see it. Let me see if I have any of those in our example here. So you're going to see that I've selected CRV cans and number 1 plastic, PET plastic bottles. I pulled those out of the product groups and put them up here so that they're easy and quick access. That's what quick access means. So I could say, well, I buy a lot of copper 1. Well, then let's put copper 1 up here. And so you can set and organize all of these buttons to make sure that they're in the order in which you want them and that they're quick access. And I don't have to go, well, if I buy a lot of red brass, well, then why wouldn't I just take the red brass and I'll pull it out and make it a quick access code? So hopefully that helps you understand what quick access and quick priority means. But that's pretty much phase 1 training, is to get you through these 4 buttons and to get your database set up and get ready for phase 2 training. In phase 2 training, we're going to talk about your suppliers, your customers, your accounts, and then we're also going to talk about creating tickets in your system. And so, for instance, every ticket created is populated here. I can see if they've been paid, if they're unpaid. I can see the customer, the account name, and I can see any images that are associated with those transactions. So you can see inbound versus outbound tickets on your ticket to search screen. And then, of course, in the phase 2 training, we would then show you how to, let me just delete that one. We would show you how to go to brass, how to go to red brass, how to maybe manually enter or auto pull the weight in from your scale connection, and then simply take your photos and move on through and collect your compliance, be able to add a supplier to the ticket, etc. So that'll be covered in phase 2 training. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and hope this allows you to get through these 4 steps in setting up phase 1 training for WeighPay feeder yard software. Thank you, and remember, WeighPay, so advanced, it's simple.